It all started that night when I was babysitting for a family friend. My friend ran away from home and went into the woods. I heard something outside the window, so I decided to see what it was. The sight was the most bizarre thing ever. The rodents were roaming the chilly evening room. James, the child I was watching, had roamed into the living quarters, so I assumed he went to his room. I went in after a bit to see if James was actually asleep. When I went into his room, I saw a figure. It blinked in and out of existence, like television static. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. It was a tall, faceless figure that gave me pie. The pie tasted horrible. I nearly died in horror, for it was poison. It had human flesh in it. The pie is alive, or was it? Suddenly I fell into a coma, and I woke up in a dark room. Two round patches appeared on his face, slowly developing into eyes. Dead eyes, unblinking, uncaring, unforgiving, as though they were staring down into the very depths of my soul and judging me, and I did not pass judgment. As it offered me the flesh-filled pie, I shook my head rapidly. No way in hell was I eating that. The figure must have taken offense to my rejection, and its mouth opened wide, wider than I have ever thought possible. Its face contorted in a mixture of agony and pleasure. It emitted a silent yet bone-chilling scream. It had rows of teeth like a shark, littered with small human teeth. I wanted to run, but I was frozen. My heart had even stopped. Or was it because it ripped itself out of my chest? The little light that was in the room began to leave my eyes. Everything was going black, but with a single sliver of hope, I stumbled backwards onto the floor, and I began to crawl away like a maimed animal. As I thought I was about to die, the being put my heart back and jumped inside me, changing me forever. I felt its dark nature flooding my being, extinguishing the light inside my soul and replacing my thoughts with malice. As I turned back to look, tentacles slowly emerged from behind him. His very presence began to suck my life away. In a mixture of shock and desperation, I ignored my feeling to mourn for the child. I crawled away terrified, sheer terror slowly engulfing me from behind. Empty screams, oxygenless breath. Every motion forward required all my energy. I was 1,000 pounds. As I turned the next corner, I grabbed the wall and pulled myself forward and stood up. I ran. My heart began beating, almost out of my chest, but beating at least. My heart was beating so rapidly, I was convinced to wake everyone in the neighborhood. My own personal funeral march, courtesy of my own body. As I made my way outside, the leaves crunched underfoot, and all I could think was surely there are more dignified ways to die. I had made it out the door and into the middle of the empty neighborhood street. I dropped to my knees and screamed a terrifying scream, one that was squeezed all off my very soul from an invisible foot, one that pierced the night like bullets ripped through flesh. I raised my head slowly, sweat trickling down the nape of my neck, ice cold. As I raised my head, more figures surrounded me, a macabre grin on their face, their mouths opened, emitting childlike giggles. I realized then the sick children around my neighborhood hadn't been ill at all. They'd been infected by what I could only name as Malice. They began closing in on me, though from a distance they all moved in so fast. They grabbed me and whispered harshly, "Paper or plastic." The malice inside me fought for control. I realized they were drawn to the light inside people, the innocence, the kindness, everything they lacked and therefore envied. They burned, but the burning sensation inside me was unbearable. I wanted to give in. The rat burst from the cake, biting, hissing, and squirming. To my horror, I discovered a wriggling tail thrashing like a worm between my lips. Slow sobs, barely escaping my breath, a single tear trickling down the side of my face. I knew my fate, and I pulled out my knife. They saw and began sprinting at me. I did my best to release my soul before they could steal it away. But it was too late. The malice inside me achieved total control. Everything I was and could have ever been erased. We have a hive mind. As one, we turn our attention to our next target. We are the innocent preside. We carry on your everyday mundane life. Or where we carry on your every mundane life. We are the malice inside all of you. We will consume. We will win. We will rule.